Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Friday, May 3rd, 2024. I'm Joe Pratt, keeping you informed of what's happening in the world. Happy birthday to those of you born on this date. You share a birthday with Niccolo Machiavelli, Golda Meir, Mary Astor, the actress, Pete Seeger, Sugar Ray Robinson, James Brown, Frankie Valli, Greg Gumbel, and pop singer Christopher Cross. The Israeli-Hamas conflict is dominating the news cycle right now, but not a lot is happening other than the war is still going on in Gaza. Hamas has sent a delegation to Europe for peace talks in Gaza, which is giving a slight bit of hope to the rest of the world that perhaps the conflict could end. But the reports we're getting is that both sides are stubbornly holding to their positions, digging in their heels. Here are some of the issues on both sides. Israel wants either complete destruction or complete surrender by Hamas. That would mean Israel would have the right to be in Gaza, to oversee the rebuilding of the area, and to make sure that no efforts are made to rebuild Hamas's position as a terrorist organization. And Israel wants all of the hostages freed and returned. Hamas wants a complete end to the war and a partial release of hostages and wants Israel to be completely out of Gaza. The other factor is that Israel has been tipping their hand by saying they will attack Rafah, which is the last stronghold of Hamas, if Hamas doesn't surrender. Protests are still going on around the U.S. about this. Reports are that over 2,300 people have been arrested in the protests because of violence and failure to abide by campus rules. Universities are trying to hold things together with finals and classes and grades and graduation coming up. Frank Kendall went for a ride in an F-16 fighter jet, and he was the passenger. There was no pilot, no human pilot, just the AI system running the plane. The plane also participated in a mock dogfight with another plane that was piloted by a human being. Frank Kendall is the Air Force Secretary, and he was observing firsthand the tests being done with AI and flying and its use in war. Boy, I hope they never decide to use AI in commercial flights, at least with no pilot, that is. On the campaign trail, Biden is trying his hand at humor, making fun of and mocking Trump in retaliation for Trump mocking him. Here's a couple of the jokes Biden says, "Just the other day, a defeated-looking guy came up to me and said, 'Mr. President, I need your help. I'm being crushed with debt. I'm completely wiped out.' I had to say, 'Donald, I can't help you.'" And one other, "Remember when he was trying to deal with COVID, he suggested inject a little bleach in your veins. He missed, and it all went to his hair." A former government employee has accused 7 people he worked with in the government of participating in the riots on January 6th. The employee, Miguel Zapata, made anonymous tips to the FBI, saying his co-workers had been in the January 6th riots. The problem is none of his co-workers were even in Washington, D.C. that day, so he has been arrested on charges of submitting fake tips to the FBI. In sports, the NBA playoffs, 2 more teams got eliminated last night when Indiana beat Milwaukee and New York beat Philadelphia. The 2 other teams face elimination today as Cleveland takes on Orlando and the LA Clippers take on Dallas. The Kentucky Derby runs tomorrow. Fierceness and Sierra Leone are the 2 favorites. Top movies of the week are number 5, Abigail. 4 is The Civil War. Number 3 is Godzilla X Kong. Number 2 is Unsung Hero. Excuse me. Unsung Hero. And number 1 is Challengers. You perhaps know someone who has an emotional support pet A dog or a cat is most common. But how about an alligator? Joey Henney from Pennsylvania is so distraught right now because his emotional support pet alligator has vanished, and he thinks he may have been stolen. His pet alligator is named Wally, and he was on vacation with him in Georgia when Wally the alligator disappeared from an enclosure that he had been keeping him in at night. Mr. Henney said pranksters stole Wally and then left him outside someone's home, and they called authorities, who came and released him into the wild. Mr. Henney made a tearful plea to help bring Wally back. Most cities are happy to have tourists visit, and in fact, some survive on the money that comes in from tourism. But a town in Japan has had enough, and they have put up a huge screen to prevent people from taking pictures of Mount Fuji. The town says it's tired of people standing in the street blocking traffic or blocking the sidewalks and littering and trespassing on people's property. How's this for sustainability and saving the environment? Researchers in Australia have developed a process for making jet fuel from methane gas from landfills. They believe that if they can make their process cost-effective, virtually all the landfills in the world could be a source of energy. In religion, today's quote from the sacred works comes from the Torah, the Old Testament, Numbers 5:5-7. Quote, "The Lord said to Moses, 'Say to the Israelites, any man or woman who wrongs another in any way, and so is unfaithful to the Lord, is guilty and must confess the sin they have committed. They must make full restitution for the wrong they have done and add a fifth of the value to it and give it all to the person they have wronged.'" We all know how nervous people can be on the day of their wedding, right? Well, Robert Thompson and Amy Alden were saying their vows to each other, a script that was prepared and memorized ahead of time. The groom, Robert, got to the part where he was supposed to say, quote, "I will care for you, laugh at you when you are happy, comfort you when you're sad." But he slipped and said, "Laugh at you when you're happy, laugh at you when you're sad." And the whole congregation erupted in uncontrollable laughter. A shoplifter stole a bottle of alcohol from the liquor store, but before he left, he had to stay and flirt with the clerk that was there. In the flirting, he gave her his name and number, and which made it pretty easy to track him down. Joe Pratt, make it a great day.